Heyo guys, girls, and everyone in between, this is Rebellious Pastry here, and every trans person has their own questioning journey. Some people have a smoother gender discovery than others. I was one of those people who questioned 4 different identities, but some question more and some question less. This is gonna be a very serious video, and I understand if you don't want to watch serious videos. I have all sorts of different silly stories. Please check out one of those if you don't want a serious video. Here's my gender journey. Like I said in my growing up non-binary video, I felt like the oddball child, and the whole male and female thing just didn't really make sense to me. I always had a gap between other children and I, which I figured out later that gap was the fact I'm agender, which one can say is non-binary to save time here, but what it truly means to be agender means you do not have a gender at all and need to build one from scratch, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because you can just be whoever you want without the concept of gender at all. The first difficulty I had with being agender was figuring out the fact I am agender. The first thing that got me questioning my gender was it some agender celebrity, which there isn't any big names that are agender yet. So the thing that got me questioning my gender was the combo of looking at different feminine women in my life. And before I continue this video, no, not all women need to be feminine to be women, but let's continue this story. I look at all of these women, and at this point, I was learning about different trans and gay flags to be an ally to the LGBTQ plus community, and I was also looking at all of the characteristics of these women that were hyper feminine, and I'm like, wait a minute, something don't seem to line up here. So I started my gender journey with saying, I don't completely feel like a woman. So for 3 months, I identified as a demigirl. Then when I went to camp for that summer, they introduced pronouns to the general public of being at camp because previously they didn't really use pronouns. And at this point, I was going by she, they. Then I decided to take the fateful leap and go from she, they to they, them at camp, and it felt better. I still wanted to keep the she in there just in case I changed my mind, which, newsflash, it didn't end up happening, obviously, but I ended up being a they, she for a little bit, and then later on I was thinking, who am I kidding? I'm not a girl at all, and started to just go by they, them pronouns. But with going with they, them pronouns, there's different types of non-binary identities out there. So I'm like, what kind of they, them am I? So the first one I came across was genderqueer, which it is the most basic non-binary identity one can have because it's the umbrella term for all non-binary identities. And then for a while I was briefly going down the list of all of the non-binary identities and didn't really feel like any of them. And then I'm like, who am I kidding? I don't even have a gender! Then I figured out, and yes, I've questioned about being a trans male and a demi-boy multiple times, but every time I've questioned it, if I was a male of some sort, it didn't quite fit right. So yes, things might change in the future, but I'm very convinced the fact that I don't have a gender, which just means, like I said before, I can be myself without any gender expectations. Please keep in mind that there's actually people that their answer to their gender journey is demigirl and genderqueer, and also a girl. So please do not discount any of these identities just because I ended up thinking I was them and then finding something else. The only thing that is a phase for trans people is think that our gender was the sex that we were assigned at birth. That's because society is advertising gender as a necessary from a really young age to young children through dolls and toy cars, which I'm hoping that can change in the future. I hope this helps any current and future trans children. It is a-okay to question if you're trans or not, and what kind of trans you are, because you truly aren't faking anything, because questioning gender is hard and really stressful, and you might not get it right the first time, or the first 3 times, but I know you can do it. I believe in you. Heyo, this is the end card, and thank you for watching this more serious video. I know that I don't really do serious videos much, but I really do appreciate all of the people who tend to watch the more serious ones. In general, if someone doesn't feel comfortable with a serious video, I tend to warn them ahead of time just because that would be for the best of everybody. And yeah, I don't take offense if someone doesn't or can't handle a serious video, and that is a-okay. But yeah, I am looking forward to doing plenty more silly videos in the future to come. And yeah, I platonically love you, my donut batch, and see you in the future to come.